Welcome back to BaldHeaded Metal, guys. My name is Joseph. Today we're going to do another Sabaton reaction, a little different this time with the song Hill 3234, which is about the Soviet-Afghan conflict. I've actually had friends, her fathers had to serve in the military and would go to those battles and would have to be forced to do really horrible atrocities, which they've never psychologically recovered from. It's going to be interesting how they tackle this particular topic, as I think this is one of those wars, just like Vietnam and Chechnya and all these other conflicts, Iraq. It's not so black and white. So it'll be interesting to see kind of the story of this particular song. Without any further ado, let's get right into it. For those who are new to this channel, despite the fact that I am a critical person and I usually have some form of criticism to say about most of the songs that are here, I try to express my opinion in the most polite way. So far with Sabaton, I didn't have to do that. I just kind of enjoy everything for the most part. There hasn't been a song really that has been kind of lukewarm for me. The one I've enjoyed the least actually is Christmas Truce, because I like the more explosive songs from them personally, but I also understand why people like Christmas Truce as well. The story is really great. Anywho, let's get into it. Actually, I have to stop right away and say how dope that main riff is from the beginning. It just kind of hits you right from the beginning, and that's a kind of a cool painting here right now. Yeah, follow orders. That's exactly one of the elements. I've heard this from my friend. His father was one of the higher ranks in the Russian-Afghan war, and he was ordered by his superiors to execute a whole village, put them on their knees and literally execute every single person, their women, children, everybody. And you don't follow through the order, you get court-martialed, sent to prison. And Russian prisons are not exactly a fun place. They're not fun anywhere, but they were a rough place there. And he has unfortunately had to follow through with that order and never ever was able to mentally get back to who he was, so much so he wasn't a model father either. He wasn't there anymore. And it was really hard for my friend. He kind of discovered the journal when he was younger and read it without his father's being aware of that. And he also kind of looked at his father in a different way from that point on. But at the same time, it's like it's such a hard topic to talk about. And here they find not levity, but a middle ground. Sabaton is always find this middle ground in songs where it presents this side of what they had to feel and had to go through without getting too political about their particular conflict, and just as almost like a historical reenactment of a matter of fact of what happened versus saying who's the bad guy, who's the good guy. But the music is so good. This has to be some. I'm gonna need to rewind this a bit. I just heard that riff kind of change up a little bit. This has to be one of the coolest riffs I heard from Sabaton so far, because the song itself, it doesn't have as of an epic feel like a Bismarck or Defense of Moscow, which is not their song, but it doesn't have that same epic feeling. But it just has this kind of like a almost like a firefight, right? It has that kind of intensity to the song, which I really, really love. I have to rewind that. Guys, I've never done this since I began, but I need to rewind that part. That part is so good. Oh my god. It reminded me of Creeping Death, Metallica. Die by my hand. It had that same kind of feeling. And every time I hear Creeping Death, and now when I heard this, I just felt the goosebumps automatically. But as I mentioned, it's just something about Sabaton. I think it's a fine art of how do you tell the story of what happened, and perhaps almost always they pick a side in this conflict because Bismarck is about a German ship. Defense of Moscow is about how the Russians had to fight them back, and without painting the other person as automatically bad. It's even my cousin. He did 2 tours in Iraq. And he talked about this idea of he didn't ever look at the Iraqis as the bad guys. It's like we were sent in to do a mission. This is what we're doing. They just happened to be on the other side. And when I say Iraqis, I mean it was they were fighting the terrorist forces, I should say, correct myself. It was what I think at the time was Taliban that they were fighting. And he never looked at them and as these bad guys. There was a level of sympathy as well, but also a level of caution because he had a lot of friends who died and got blown up by bombs, or kids would, be sent into a crowd and with like a little shoebox that would be, an explosion. And I think at one point he actually, unfortunately, had to kill a child that didn't stop when he had to. It's the horror of war. And Sabaton's so good at not making you feel almost depressed. You can watch some of the footage, especially of Vietnam. You can feel really depressed of what war brings. But they have this, I don't know, they just have this kind of mixture with this band where they're able to talk about it and educate you without being like wagging a finger at you or something. Yeah. Really love this song. And this is kind of a more old school power metal song, in my opinion, like a 80s power, like pure power metal song. Dope. This was a dope song. It has to be, I'm not gonna say my favorite, but it just automatically resonated with me because I love Bismarck. I love the This Now song. I love the Defense of Moscow. There's such good songs. The only one, for me is Christmas Truce is good. It's just not the style of song I like from Sabaton personally. And actually, one of the reasons we came to United States in end of 95, beginning of I think it's September, September we arrived, I believe. I was 8 years old when we came to this country, was because of the Russian Chechnya war. I lived in the Caucasus, northern Caucasus, and that's where I was born. So you know, we would see tanks rolling through the streets when they were approaching still to Afghanistan. My brothers were approaching the age where they would be recruited to go, despite the fact that my mom, dad, grandparents all were born in the capital state of Grozny of Chechnya. So it's just like it was craziness at that time. It was also post-Soviet era, a lot of crime, racketeering. There was just it was an insane place at late 80s and 90s. There's no real leadership. We're entering like our Vietnam basically with Chechnya. And we came to this country to run away from it all. Yeah, to give you a little bit of history, kind of where I come from. Oh, man. Anywho, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction. If you did, make sure to subscribe down below for more. And give me your thoughts, because I know I have a couple of subscribers on this channel who are Russian themselves or are from the former Soviet Union, whether it be Ukraine or maybe some other countries. I'm not going to list everybody down the line, but the idea stays the same. These things are part of our history, whether we like it or not, and they're part of world history. And I think what Sabaton is doing is very important. That's how I feel. And guys, make sure you enjoy the rest of your week. It is Christmas week, so to those who of you are celebrating it, I wish you the best. I know my Russian people, to us, it's more of a pagan holiday. We don't have Santa Claus, by the way. We have Father Frost. We don't have any elves. We don't have a Christmas tree. We have a pine tree, or yolka, as we say it. So I've actually celebrated this idea of a tree, giving presents for us on the 31st on the night, and celebrating it together with your family on the 1st. And then for the Russian Orthodox, I think it was January 6th, is the Orthodox Christmas. But anywho, the idea is the same. Holiday cheer for all you guys. Take care, and make sure you keep it metal out there, guys.